It's a good bit of damage. Like trying to close the distance with a right click of the classic. It works out pretty nicely. The 4v4, and considering how low some of these G2 players are, both Piff and Mixwell, one more hit and they're down. Still able to get a little bit of damage in. Spike has gone down for Vitality, and now it's just holding off this retake. And Brams still holding on. Piff trying to take a duel, he's down to 29 HP, and just be touching base on the other side of the toxic screen as he places it down. But Sender was watching it. It's just Patty Tech over on the Reyna. There's not really enough time. 10 seconds, less than that now. 5. And Brams clears it up before the spike can get deployed. Never mind. Neither of them. It was good practice for a little bit of play-by-play. As a color caster, I could do with as much practice as I can get a hold of. Vitality considering to do the damage. Sender. Nice shot from distance onto Mixwell, just seeing the top of the ponytail of Jet. The economy is going to be pretty good for Vitality for the next few rounds or so. Is that? Tech hasn't been spotted on the corner and connects onto Brams that dashes in and reacts a bit too slowly. In fact, though, can instantly trade out onto Ardis, and Jesmond is able to add to it too. 3v3 now. Spike has gone down yet again, and Patty Tech goes for a wide flank and does get a triple kill. Low-key trades very quickly. Now, Loki, newest addition to Vitality, has it all to do. The players almost line up nicely for him. Not really any upgrades available for G2 to pick off of the ground. They have actually brought up the player again, but they line up nicely for Jesmond. He just waits patiently, gets the kill, and the Viper's Pit looking to come out. Mixwell still with the Blade Storm in hand is going to see if he could just catch somebody off guard, but the Viper's Pit is going to scare him away just a little bit, waiting for the spike to get planted to try and go for a kill. But Jesmond was there waiting, gets the triple kill, still sat within the Viper's Pit. Big ultimates expended on a round against an Hiko. Sitting back a little bit, they had the man advantage, but now it's evened up with a Resurrect and another kill. Now Ardis gets off the board, the Hunter's Fury connects onto Vac. It gives G2 a one-player advantage. 3 versus 2, Hunter's Fury still available for Loki. But the spike hasn't gone down. Jesmond is kind of out in the open, and they know exactly where he's going to be playing from. From distance, so he wins that duel against Mixwell, but Patty Tech from a different opening wins that duel. Another 1v1 between Vitality and G2. This time, Loki versus Patty Tech. Patty Tech in the high ground is going to use the Leah. Information denied for just a short second as the recon dart is going to allow Loki to check some of the angles. Patty Tech still on the high ground, not giving up his position just yet. But that flick up from Loki connects exactly where it needs to. Break up for G2, but it's worked out quite nicely. Pipe yet again just trying to stop Vitality as they're getting the spike planted. Vitality seem to be prepped for it though. It's the second time that that's happened. Once on each of the sites. Mixwell slipping around with the ultimate, misses that final shot, and Brams doesn't. This is another eco round from G2 where they've got a couple of kills at least. Lucky that he didn't take a little bit more. The man advantage has gone. Vitality Sender is able to catch onto Aussie as they're pushing onto the site. Mixwell has made his way onto the high ground. But he'll have to do some real theatrics to hop down to take somebody by surprise. You're going to find a place to drop in from the low ground, and it is just him. Sender gets a third. And 8-2, this attacking half of Vitality on their map pick of Icebox actually working out super nicely. Look like a scary team again. We're doing a bit of damage here. Brams though, Brams has had a really good map so far. He can't get any more than a 2k so far, but a third round for G2 eventually. Silver utility. And Sender actually uses the wall to boost up. Nobody's doing anything about it, but luckily Ardis comes to the rescue. The shot guard does some damage, and he follows through on the Bulldog. Spike goes down. G2 having 3 players still alive. Are going to see if there's anybody close with the recon dart. And Loki waiting for the teammate to back him up. Is now starting to move in for the kill. Piff playing from distance. All of that Viper utility still there to delay the plant. It might not be enough. Brams gets a nice connection onto Mixwell to take him out. Loki knows where one of the players is. Whether they can really take him away, but Piff comes through mids to the rescue, allowing this plant to go in. Very different to how G2 have been playing it so far in their defense, and this is why. Allows to go for a fight, but look at where Ardis has found himself, all the way into mid. He's in between a rock and a hard place, and the Aldrin is going to put a bit more pressure onto G2. Loki's even got a bit more information and more players are over there, but Patitek still wins out that duel. 2 versus 1 now. It's just going to be Jesman trying to clear this up. Looks the wrong way at the wrong time, and now it's gone from 10-2 to a 2-map differential between G2 and Vitality. We're continuing to pile up the momentum. I didn't get to see the Heretics game because we were casting Fnatic versus Saw, but it's on my to-watch list, obviously. Loki with the Sheriff is just trying to take pot shots to see if he can connect, but he doesn't. And the Bucky from Sender on the corner is going to get double peeked from different verticalities. And now Vac in behind with a Bulldog. The spray is good at least to get onto 1 kill, but Mixwell with the Operator stare at him literally down the barrel. And mostly going to be waiting for a post plant if he can get it down. Ozzy's going to be there. Brams tries to peek it as this execute comes in and loses out to Patitek. This is the scary individual performance of G2 that we remember from 2020. Now Loki.
Out of charges.
And all to do with G2 players on various lineups. The shock dart does connect a little bit onto Loki, but not enough to concern him. He's not going to predict Ozzy to flank all the way around from kitchen to that snowman spot. Mixwell looking for a fight, looking to scope onto somebody and get the kill. And Jesman, still from the same spot, tries to get it. Mixwell eventually gets that kill, but Vitality is still trying to make this work a little bit more. Ardis has slipped on by, but it's him on his own. A 1 versus 2. Has to pull out the pistol, pick up another gun because he had to reload. Catches him out completely. Wasn't expecting that, but the Resurrect is going to bring it now to a 5 versus 5, but Vac yet again coming in with a punish. Brams now added to it with the Operator. It's going to peek again and even brings out the Blade Storm. The layer just pushes him to be a bit more aggro and it works out nicely. Tries to right click onto his own teammate, I think. Now just 2 players left from G2, but they bring it to a 2 versus 2. The Viper's pick goes down, but they can't catch a surprising kill at this point. The Empress has actually come through and Sender all the way from behind has made it so Patitek has to clutch it out in a 1 versus 2. Picks up a different gun. He only has 8 ammo in this one as well, so he has to reload, but Brams catches him off. It was a long roundabout way to go about it, but Vitality wins up against G2 on Icebox. Vitality's map pick. And it went from a 10-2 half in favor of them to just narrowly winning it before it got to overtime. The retake time is starting to tick away. They break the door and Mixwell has pretty much been here the whole time. Wanted to try to face up, and nobody faces into him directly. The spray is a little bit manic, and back with the classic. It's a quadruple kill. Not quite getting the ace though. Jesman just sneaks it away from him. You don't typically see these kind of teams change up their composition this much, but I mean, it seems to be working. They're really winning out this round. And Mixwell does dive onto Vac, and trade is there for Jesman, who's playing in this cubby alone, holding his ground. Patitek slowly tries to take the fight, but it's a free K. Trailblazer's going to make its way in. Spots Ardis on this corner. He's actually good to try and push up and be aggressive into Jesman, but it doesn't quite work out. Patitek holding a close line. It's going to be scared away a little bit by the recon dart. And Mixwell with a little bit of a short angle with the up in B main through the Nebula smoke is good to make it a 4K. He can get the ace. He's actually brought out the Blade Storm to do it. And Mixwell, the full 5K. There were 6 players overall in the server, and Patitek takes away the 6K, but still a solid ace. Mixwell of a Cowboy shootout. And Loki actually loses out to Ozzy, who was patiently waiting there for that fight for quite some time. Vitality have their position given away on the site, and it's just Jesman holding on. Pressed by multiple players, but he's still winning out these duels. Now it's just Patitek. He has to plant the spike. 20 seconds left. Jesman's there waiting. He's been able to string a few kills together now. Patitek gonna press him. Paranoid's gonna be used. The teleport potentially there for a bit of a 200 IQ play, but just as we go into what might happen next, given away to G2. I like the fact that they instantly used the Trailblazers to see if they can counter it. Force G2 to play back a little bit, and Loki has them all lined up perfectly. Like ducks in a row, the triple kill is in there. And Piff and Patitek, it's such a good map on Icebox, will have a lot to do now. Piff with a duel, gets 2 with a sheriff. The Hunter's Fury has to put him down before it gets a little bit too crazy. Expecting a recon dart to come in, but it might not be ready. It wasn't too long ago that Addis ended up using it last, and now he's out of the server for now. It's not going to add on to much. Mixwell is finding so much impact. Dashes over to where Vac is, but he has that spot planted down, much like the spike. Got about 20 seconds left on it, I'd say, and Piff facing up against 2 players, tries to take these duels bit by bit. But it's like a shooting range, the target switching from either side. Vac with another manages to sneak by. Mixwell doesn't know if a player has passed him, but he's expecting it. He might not check this sightline. It depends on if Vac's going to react, and he doesn't. Mixwell sees the top of the gun first, and Patitech now all the way in the top of this lineup. Almost strings a few kills together. Ozzy is there to help out yet again. He's been a really solid performance support. Vitality so far on their attack. A bit more of a set play. The paranoia is good, and Pip is going to push amongst it. Gets the triple kill, and Hunter's Fury is just going to put so much pressure onto Vitality that they can't necessarily get comfortable. Having to really dance through the gauntlet has put Vitality down to low numbers. Now it's just Loki. No resurrect available. He's actually going to try and set up a bit of a wall peek, but Mixwell predicting that that might happen. More comprehensive on his defense. And Vitality have it all to do. The Bladestorm match are going to be used straight away. It catches onto Brams, who dashes on through. The recon that does give up Mixwell's position. He dashes out to safety. Still with the Bladestorm in hand. Pip uses the recon dart information to catch a kill and to send her through the nebula smoke. Vac is looking into this corner where Pip could be playing from, and the camera does get used. He's trying to spray onto that area and does eventually start to connect on top of him. Now Vitality holding on. They're 1 player down. 2 players down now as the resurrect from Ozzy gets dedicated to, and Vac trying to hold on to this spot isn't good enough. Loki on top of the wall, trying to line up these kills, making sure that his position not given away, but has to reload. Piff pushes him. Tactical shooters, but not necessarily Valorant just yet. Ozzy's really wanted to face aggressively the lineup, and he's able to get even more. Loki bringing the resurrect back onto Vac. It's a 3 versus 3, and G2 aren't out of this just yet. Guiding Light's going to be good. It flashes Sender. Addis actually gets the kill just before he gets pinged off by the Guiding Light, and Vac is there to trade. 2 versus 2, an immediate reset from Vitality. They're going to head over to A. And on the fact that that's an open spot that can be punished, Ozzy knows that this is going to be a B execute now. Brams tries to come on through with a Bladestorm, but it's not good enough. Loki is there to trade instantly as a secondary entry. But Ozzy is still on the site. This is where he was so key before. Looks away at the worst possible time, and now it looks like we're going to overtime. Unless Piff. 1 versus 3. Bring us to a 3rd map. Trailblazer's going to patrol to see if he can find any information. Maybe for the fact that they didn't spot anything on B main might show that Piff is likely to come out of market. Recon dart is going to be put on the back of site. Piff is going to try to push away slowly but surely, but the recon dart gives him away. And on Ascent would go into overtime. Way back to the boathouse. Loki holding on for dear life. Jesmond actually getting a bit over egregious with a pull, and the gravity well makes it even tougher for Loki to get a kill. It really pulls his tracking off, and he misses up the shot. Brams through the wall bang, gets it onto Addis and flicks away trying to get onto Patitech. It might have bodied him, but it's not enough. Vac, last alive, sitting within the smoke, has so many angles to clear and so many angles that G2 players are holding on to. Can't say that they can't do this anymore. Brams takes that fight against Mixwell. Loki is there to trade again. It's really good second entry from him so far. They're just going to have to deal with this in a 4v4. How did G2 do without Mixwell? How did Vitality do without Brams? It's a jetless server now. It's all just slowed down. Vitality not afraid to make a little noise. In fact, breaking that wall would completely expose where Patitech's playing from, but he holds his ground. Now starting to push. Nobody's going to check him. Nobody's looking at him at all. He catches onto Loki. He's going to back off, and the spike has been dropped in mid. You see G2 quickly change up their positions. Better preparing for this A execute, and all 4 players of Vitality all coming through the doorway together. Addis is there to meet and greet them, but Vac wins that fight out. Piff now waiting to skulk. He's ready for the rat play that could potentially bring us to a third map. But Ozzy's there to steal one kill from him. He faces another, and we're going to a third map all the way into overtime. G2 and Vitality are going to be taking us to split. Boxes in the vent. And Piff is going to hear all of this information. Peeks off of it, sorry, with a tripwire. And is forced to jump away. Send a Goomba stomps on top of him with the classic. And the 3 versus 2 post plant is about to fall in. In fact, just cautiously checking the site, and he's flirt with the idea of just lobbing the paint shell somewhere and hoping to catch on, but more measured. The camera plays down from Jesmond is going to spot Mixwell, but that's all it gets. Where is Artist? That's going to be the question that G2 are working out as they clear these angles one by one. Mixwell isolates these duels and wins them both. The 3K is there, and now Vac with a paint shell. Perfectly placed to at least stop Mixwell from pushing onwards. He's down to 58 HP. Any form of low damage is going to be a poor one. Vac goes for the wide peak, but is in the slow orb, and whilst Mixwell can't get the 4K, Artist can with the retake. Oh, yikes. Utility. I realised it's clear. Showstopper comes out from Mixwell. It aligns nicely onto Brams, who trades him out before his demise.
You will not kill my
Wall is going to force G2 to maybe play a bit closer as Resurrect brings Brams back into the fight. Double peek is okay from G2. The trade out at even numbers again as the Resurrect goes in to bring in Mixwell. The sender shoots him as the back as it comes through. Jessamine makes sure that Mixwell can't really have too much time back into the server. And Piff, caught up in all forms of utility, just wants to survive for the second. Patitech is going to take it into his own hands, uses the Empress, gets a 2K, dismisses out, is going to later provide himself a bit of space. Piff goes in to try and help, and the headshot's good from Patitech, but he doesn't know where these last 2 players are. Has to reload, take a breather. Vitality now no longer able to survive behind the wall. Patitech knows that there's one player in B main. How is he going to play this? He needs to isolate these fights. He's put a bit more pressure onto Vitality, but Loki wrapping around the top of the column on the either side of this box to allow a bit of peek and utility, maybe a paranoid coming through on Ozzy. Camera gets killed. There it is. Paranoid connects. But a lot to deal with. Mixwell finds a nice angle onto Brams and even gets a spray through onto Vac. The sender flicks around. Mixwell is just cleaning up shop with the Spectre of all guns. Monero Theft is going to reveal where these last 2 players of Vitality are. Mixwell isn't going to try and press ahead. The Boombot is going to do the majority of recon. Loki just can't dig that jewel. He knows where the spike is. It's going to be pretty tough to grab it. Jesmond all the way from the A site. Peeking around this corner. Is going to see Piff, but only barely. Jiggle Peek is just going to be there to scout out information. Vitality trying to pick these fights one by one. They now know where Jesmond is. These pen shells are going to really bully him off this position. More kills from Mixwell are denied, but Patitech is there to follow suit to Reykjavik to Iceland. G2 right now just seem to be outbraining Vitality. Even a Resurrect dedicated to make this a full 5 versus 2 now. And Vitality, we can be honest, they look a bit tired. They look a bit knackered. They're not checking some of the angles. They're being caught off completely from G2. Mixwell holding on to this spot. It's going to be an awkward peek if he wants to go for it, but considering he's on low health, it's just more holding the angle. Waiting for the heal actually to come through from Ardis. That's going to create a bit of space. The Leah makes it really difficult for Vac and Loki to push on, and Mixwell, another triple kill. Hours of open qualifiers starting from scratch, and Vitality aren't just done yet. Mixwell actually bringing out the showstopper to ward away anybody that was planning for a quick execute onto B. The ultimate doesn't find much. Jesmond actually wins the duel out, and the showstopper from Vac gets shut down from Ardis. He gets a kill over on B main and then onto Heaven. Now Jesmond, yet again, having to scramble to pick up the spike, all on his own, surrounded from G2 players. Are they going to check danger? They do. You just see the top of Piff's hat, and he doesn't need to see much more onto Jesmond. Over to A. Try to stop this plant as it goes in. It's a good start from Vac as he blast packs away to safety. But Brams, flanking all the way behind into the attacker's spawn, just gets caught out. Surprising that G2 were expecting that play. Vac is actually going to push into Mixwell, but Mixwell just throwing whatever utility he has handy. More controlled. The new coach will do that for you as well, so credit to Neil Zenio. But Vitality have not looked that bad either. They've had their own demons to deal with, and Loki is going to be one right now for G2. And just like G2 were 10-2 down on Icebox for them, and the wall is going to protect him for now. And Loki just finds good timing. Takes a peek, gets onto Mixwell, knows that there's more players there. Fanadis have no interest. They're just going to locomotive their way through, plow on who they can. And Ardis now down to 70 HP. The game that really both teams will be content with however it finishes. Ends up going on the longest, and Sender now under a lot of pressure, but he sprays them all down bit by bit. He could get the ace. He would have to use the classic, and Vac just steals it away from him. Jesmond with the one ways at least allowed to see a couple of the little featies from G2, but he could only get one kill onto Wazzy. Both Sages on either teams played down, but the Resurrect can come in. G2 used theirs first, and Patitech is going to add misery onto Sender and the rest of Vitality. Loki around this corner. If he wins this duel, he can bring up the Omen, but it's not enough. Patitech continues to push. It's a 2 versus 4, a retake necessary for Vitality. They can't save, they can't give this up.
Last player standing.
And G2 Esports, one more kill onto Brams, and it's all done. 13-8, G2 Esports, it was just a seeding game. But they take that momentum from kicking out Heretics of the tournament, and they go in with the best opportunity to continue on in this tournament for Thursday.